Very interesting. All these interesting sights. This was probably what the streets were lined with back in the days, these cobblestone. Look at that, oh gosh. I'm not quite sure how people walk. I have 2 questions that I would like to ask.
All right.
Okay, so I know this is a reenactment and you guys possibly know a lot of history about Williamsburg. Can you tell me where Williamsburg got its name from?
The name, it's named after King William and Queen Mary of England.
Okay.
That's where the name William and Mary, Williamsburg was named after the King of England.
Oh, okay. And second question, what was the name before Williamsburg?
What was it named?
Name of Williamsburg before it was named Williamsburg.
Well, the first capital of the colony of Virginia was Jamestown. In 1699, the politicians decided to move the capital from Jamestown up here, not to a city, to an agricultural area, and they built the city. They built the city of Williamsburg beginning in 1700 to be the new capital of the colony of Virginia.
Oh, okay. So, but what was the name before it was named Williamsburg?
This area was called Middle Plantation.
Oh, okay.
This very large agricultural area.
Oh, okay.
So they picked an area and said, we're going to make this the new city of Williamsburg to be the capital of the colony of Virginia.
Okay, so
now, the College of William and Mary was already here.
Really? Okay.
But the campus was 3 buildings. Right in this direction, there's a very large building called the Wren Building, Wren Chapel. And the first decision they made was, we'll come 1 mile from the Wren Building and build a Capitol building.
Okay.
So that's 1 mile from the Wren Building to the Capitol. And they said, we'll have a main street, and we'll call it Duke of Gloucester Street. And we'll have every government building has to be a brick building.
Oh, okay.
That's the governor's palace, the Capitol, the courthouse, the magazine, and the church. The church is a government building. Those buildings.
Was that back then or still now today?
Then.
Was the jailer included in that?
Church of England.
Was the jailer included in that as a government building? Was the jailer included, like the jail included as a government building that they included in that?
I don't know if the jail was one of those originally designated that had to be brick, but every single building had to be on a brick foundation. So that's why you see all these brick foundations.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Well, you answered my question, and I thank you.
Europe, there was quite a bit of mention of those people over in the colonies tarring and feathering people, but there is absolutely no evidence that it ever happened.
Ha!
But it was rumored heavily in Europe that of those backwards people over in that colony, they might actually tar and feather people.
Tar and feather
No
people.
evidence that it ever happened.
Oh, yeah, okay.
How about that?
All right.
Wow.
Well,
That's amazing.
Thank you, sir.
interesting, interesting.
I've got answers anyhow.
So this,
Y'all finding everything okay today?
Go ahead.
The millinery is a dressmaker, also makes fashion accessories for women, stays and hats and fans and things like that.
okay.
They actually just completed a wedding dress they were working on last month. It's all on display and something they're very proud of.
And what do people live in these buildings, or do the
In some cases, yes.
And
So we have 600 and some odd buildings here inside the historic area. And all but 2 of them are owned by the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation.
Okay.
The 2 that are not are the Bruton Parish Church, the oldest building in Colonial Williamsburg. And that's because that's still an active congregation, right? So they do the upkeep on the building, they give tours. Anything we would have done with it, they're still doing with it. So we just have no incentive to take that over. And I also like to say that illustrates, you know, one of the founding tenets of our nation, right? The separation of church and state. So I like that Bruton Parish Church is still independent of Colonial Williamsburg. And then next to that, on that west end of town, is the Bowden Armstead House, the only private residence in Colonial Williamsburg that is not owned by the foundation. But it's not the only private residence in Colonial Williamsburg. All the others are owned by the foundation and rented out. So you'll see on a lot, like not this building, but the next one down, private residence. And you'll see little teeny plaques on them that say private residence.
So people still live?
And people live in them. You can rent a residence from the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation. They're very popular with foundation employees because they will often rent you know, a very small building to you, like what used to be an outbuilding or a kitchen or something, or a you get a room and a bathroom, but you share the rest of the building with other roommates. Or so they find ways for that to be affordable. But yeah,
also people can rent these buildings, and I like your outfit. Can I take a look at it?
Yeah, certainly.
Let me get this fashion. Let me look at this fashion. There we go. Wow. All right.
I always enjoy weather that allows me to wear the cloak. It feels very dramatic and important to me. I really enjoy it. It's also very practical. I wish folks would come back into 21st century fashion. I'd wear one all the time.
You would? Okay. Take a picture of
This
that.
building here I love talking about because it's one of the 88 original buildings in the historic area. So out of the 600 and some odd buildings, 88 of them are original buildings. But this one I think is a great illustration of exactly why historic preservation wasn't a big concern for this nation. You know, I find myself saying very often, the time between we made the history and when we started caring about its preservation, over 100 years passed, right? In the 1930s, this was a poor rural town, and people here were just more concerned about getting by, right? They didn't have time to worry about the preservation here. This was, in fact, a gas station.
Oh, this one here?
And I always love that. Hey, friends, you got your passes on you? If you...
all this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, but so this, you know, was a gas station, right? And this was a building originally that began as a store. We have record of it going back at least to 1770. And so you'd think that at any point, right, in our history that we would care about a building that old, right? It'd be something we wanted to preserve, and we wouldn't want to turn it into something like a gas station. But when it comes to, you know, poor rural life in America, you're not going to make decisions based on things you want to do. You make decisions based on things you have to do. And if you're opening a gas station, you just have to do it in whatever space is available. Another great example of that is the wall that's around the magazine. The magazine is that big octagonal building in the center of town. There's a wall around the outside of it. That wall had been torn down simply so they could reuse the bricks to make a couple other buildings in town.
Wow.
And then when we did this in the 30s and started putting this back together, we actually had to dismantle those newer buildings and use the original bricks to rebuild the wall. We've got the original bricks in the original location, but it's technically a reconstructed wall because they'd all been repurposed. So but that's the story of life in like I said, poor rural America. You know, people don't have time to worry about preservation of history. They just got to do what they have to do to keep their family eating.
Well, I thank you so much. It was great information.
You're very welcome.
Thank you
It's
so
a pleasure sharing it with you.
Thank you. I saw something that was very interesting. Wow. How many times do you get to see something like this? Boy, those are some big cows. Wow. Uh-oh. Almost ran into that tree. Wow. Some big cows.
These are American shorthorn cattle.
Good gosh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're about 2,300 pounds each.
I've never seen a cow this big. Is that a special type of breeding?
The reason you probably never seen one this big, these guys are 8-year-old steers.
Uh-huh.
So they've been castrated. When a bovine is castrated, he puts on weight a lot easier.
Okay.
So they continuously grow. And most of the steers we see in this country, you know, they get eaten by the time they're like 23 months old. Well, these guys are 8 years old, so they've had a lot of growth.
Boy, I have never seen. I have to get close. They are huge. Oh my goodness.
Say hi, guys.
Hi. Interesting. Very interesting.
Various pastures that we can put them in around town and the offsite. And then we also can put them in the barn if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
So they can stay at a variety of locations.
Okay. Weather, they okay here? They're okay in the weather here?
Oh, cattle love cool temperatures.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
They don't do well in the heat.
I didn't know
They
that.
actually can't sweat.
Uh-huh.
So they prefer the colder weather.
I learned something today.
They're very cool. They're also 4 movers.
They are.
I'm glad that's what
Yeah, so they're 8 years old, so they're castrated males, so when you castrate a bovine, they put on weight a lot easier and a lot quicker. About 2% of their body weight is that. Yeah, we have all together we have about 14 cattle, 4 of which are oxen. So the term oxen is just means cattle that have been trained. You can do that. I mean, typically what we do is we train them up together. So they are, we started working with them. They were put together when they were about 2 weeks old.
Oh, what is this here? Oh, wigs? Yeah, okay. Oh, of course, the barber shop. But yeah. Oh, hair pieces. Oh, okay. Oh, wig powder. Oh, so that's what they did. How did they do that?
I don't know how they made it, but those are the ingredients on the wreath.
On the wreath. Oh, okay. How to make wig powder. Okay. Well, okay. Interesting. So what is this? Most of an original home of what? And this would be a what? A basement? Oh, look at there.
You'll see them.
Oh yeah, I didn't pay attention to that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, sitting here in this colonial village, I just can't help but to think what possibly could have happened here in some of these areas. Make you think, huh?